Soft reboots are a difficult balancing act. On one hand, you're trying to attract a new audience to a work that probably isn't even aware of its legacy. And on the other, you're trying to satisfy the hardcore fanbase that has been around since the very beginning, and to who you owe everything. You may very well succeed at one of those goals, but absolutely fail at the other. Such is the dilemma faced by New Sakura Wars, the first New Sakura Wars game in almost 15 years, which is being released as simply Sakura Wars worldwide. Just as much time has passed in-universe, and we now find ourselves in the early 1940s, which is still taking place in the Taisho era. If you want to know more about that, I'd recommend watching my last video on the first game before we proceed. That'll also give you a better idea of what this series is about. But because this is a pre-release review, I won't be getting into any major spoilers. To give a brief synopsis before we dive into the nitty-gritty, the Imperial Combat Review's Flower Division is back with a new cast of characters. They've once again been tasked with protecting Tokyo from demon invasion, all while posing as a theatre troupe. They're kind of terrible at both jobs though, and need to be whipped into shape by a capable captain. This is where Seijiro Kamiyama comes in, the character we take control of. It's his job, and by extension your job, to watch over the development of these young heroines and come to understand them better as people. Like previous games in this series, you'll get additional scenes with the girl you're closest to, and also a different ending. The main heroine isn't Sakura Shinguji of old, but instead Sakura Amamiya, a girl who was saved by Shinguji as a child and now aspires to be just like her. But where is Sakura Shinguji, you might ask? Is this like Sakura Wars 5, where she only appears as a cameo at the start of the game? Well, no. In fact, that brings up the biggest issue with this game's premise. Its complete disrespect for the history of the series. 10 years before the start of this game, and 3 years after Sakura Wars 5, there was a massive demon war that ended with all the previous combat reviews sealing away a powerful demon, but at a great cost. They themselves have been sealed within a Shadow Tokyo, a vague and ill-defined location that doesn't exactly sound like a good time. I think your enjoyment of New Sakura Wars is largely dependent on how attached you are to the characters from the old games, and how betrayed you feel to see them thrown into the Upside Down with no promise of ever returning. I know the Japanese fans haven't been very happy about this, judging by their 1-star reviews on Amazon.jp.
What the hell? When I heard, I was sad and cried while playing the game. Just imagine how they all fought. Tears overflowed.
The foundations of this soft reboot are questionable to say the least. For starters, we're supposed to believe the entire cast made a grand self-sacrifice, even though the series has consistently told us that that's not the answer. So not only does the game take these characters and essentially kill them off screen, but does so in a way that betrays everything we know about them. It's not even consistent with its own message of self-sacrifice either. And this plot point is not resolved in this game, by the way. It's like Sega's holding everyone's waifus hostage and demanding a ransom, which is a copy of Sakura Wars on PS4, so that they can produce a series of new Sakura Wars games that will hopefully resolve this at some point. Guys, I'm begging you, you have to buy this game, or else Koran is never getting out of the Upside Down.
Looks like there's another bug.
The only old character that's managed to escape this fate is Sumire Kanzaki. She's now the commander of the Imperial Combat Review, and is still voiced by the great Michie Tomizawa. Even with this bit of fan service though, this game really isn't made for the hardcore fans. Everything about its scenario just feels half-baked. Tokyo has now outsourced its defense to a foreign combat review, which was the entire conflict in the Sakura Wars movie, so why would they do that again, why? Also, it's been 10 years since the original Flower Division got stuck inside the Upside Down. Yes, that is what I'm calling it for the rest of this video. But Sumire only now starts putting together a new one? And apparently no one wants to fund it, even though a combat review is what saved them the first time around. Not even Sumire's own company will fund it. So you want me to believe Sumire, hero of the Flower Division, only daughter of Kanzaki Heavy Industries, doesn't have enough influence to convince her own company to fund a combat review that has already saved Tokyo several times now? It's all contrived so Kamiyama can walk in the door at the start of the game and champion a team of underdogs. Speaking of Kamiyama, we're supposed to believe he's the former captain of his ship, even though he's, 20 years old? As you might have guessed, this game wasn't helmed by the same people as the older games, for the most part. We have the same composer, Kohei Tanaka, delivering a fantastic score as usual, but pretty much everyone else is different. The most high-profile creative voice is the lead character designer, Taito Kubo of Bleach fame. His designs are pretty good. I've not really got any issues with them. They look good and they're implemented into the game well. What I do have issues with, though, is the guest artists. This is a modern trend that I absolutely hate, and I really wish Japanese developers would stop doing this. We have this one woman who's designed by Shigenori Sojima. She looks like she walks straight out of Persona 5. But it's not just her. Half of the cast is designed by different artists. An inconsistent art style is not exactly aesthetically pleasing, now is it? This is giving me Shin Megami Tensei 4 flashbacks. Oh god, make it stop. No more guest artists. Ironically, none of them are designed by the original artist, Kosuke Fujishima. I wonder why. But that's enough comparing this to the previous games in the series. From here on, I'm gonna try and look at it as its own thing. Since I'm sure a lot of people interested in this game haven't played the previous games and don't care that Sega is holding Koran hostage.
Sega, you sick fox!
I'm gonna try and do that, but I'm most likely gonna fail. The first thing I was struck with upon starting my exploration of the Imperial Theatre is just how stiff and awkward the controls are. Kamiyama moves in such an odd way, I thought my PS4 controller was having lag, but no. That's just how it controls. The gameplay is split between these adventure sections where you walk around and interact with characters, and these fast-paced mecha battles where you fight demons. Firstly, let's talk about the most important part of any Sakura Wars game. The characters. Earlier, I mentioned that this new Sakura is a fan aspiring to be just like the old Sakura. This is actually a pretty clever way to reuse the archetype without turning it into a blatant rip-off. Just like the game itself, this new Sakura is trying to live up to a great legacy. Her character arc is coming to terms with the reality that she isn't Sakura Shinguji and she never will be. She's her own person with her own path to forge. She is far and away the main focus of the plot, almost to the detriment of the other girls you can socialize with. We have Azami, the ninja girl who is worried that she'll never become a real ninja. Clarissa, the magic user who is afraid that her powers will lead to destruction. Hatsuho, a shrine maiden with a tough exterior that hides a softer side. And Anastasia, the veteran actress who acts as a mentor for the others. This core cast of characters are who you'll be spending much of the game with. I found them all to be pretty likeable with their own interesting story arcs. I definitely preferred some of them over the others, but that is the name of the game after all. You're meant to pick your favourite for a unique route, but sadly that's something that's lacking in this game. There's very little content catered to your girl of choice, and there's an overwhelming pressure throughout much of the narrative that choosing anyone but Sakura Amamiya is just wrong. This is because the protagonist already has a history with this new Sakura. They're childhood friends, so there's a lot more dialogue choices for these two that hints at romance. In my Sakura Wars 1 video, I mentioned that the game initially pushes you towards Sakura Shinguji as a potential romantic partner. The key word there being initially, because that game eventually opens up and leaves the big choice up to you. But this game does that with Sakura Amamiya throughout the entire thing. It just feels like the canon choice. Personally, I thought she was the best written character, but I chose Clarissa instead just to spite the game. I don't like being told what to do. This is the first game in the series to feature real-time combat. as opposed to turn-based strategy battles. Most of the time, you can only take one other girl into battle with you, and you rarely get to choose which. It's Musou Dynasty Warriors gameplay, which has quite a bad reputation for being repetitive and superficial. If this is how you feel about this style of gameplay, this game certainly won't change your mind on the matter. It's all of those things and more. You have this Bayonetta-inspired dodging mechanic that slows down time, and it's incredibly overpowered. I managed to S-rank every mission in this game on the first try with very little effort. If you're looking for a challenge, there's none to be found here. It's just bashing on enemies with circle and triangle until you can use the special attacks. You also have a co-op attack with your partner that buffs your offense for a period of time. Your relationship with the girls gives them a morale boost at the start of the battle, which you won't notice because, again, it's a really easy game. The stage design seems decent enough at first, but quickly falls into all the trappings of a bland Musou. This problem culminates in the Combat Review World Games, which is sort of the World Cup for mecha battles, I guess. The areas here are all large open battlefields connected by narrow corridors. It's about as stark as stage design gets. There's honestly not that much to say about this part of the game. It's bland, overly long, and wears out its welcome long before the game ends. But gameplay was never the point of Sakura Wars. It's just a means of developing its plot and characters. And to this end, it's kind of bad at it because of the party member limit. You can go half of this game without using some of your teammates. The whole idea behind the Combat Review World Games seems interesting enough, but it fails to deliver in both gameplay and story. All the rival teams you face are the same brand of arrogant frenemy. They're all from different parts of the world, but they don't do much interesting with that. The Chinese review owns a wok restaurant. The British one has a King Arthur motif. And the Germans are just arseholes. And also one of them is a lolly. All tired anime tropes and wasted potential. That's kind of New Sakura Wars in a nutshell. And if that's all it was, it might have been less offensive. But it also feels the need to drag the legacy of the entire series through the mud with it. During the adventure sections, you're able to collect bromides, which are basically just pictures of the characters. A large chunk of these depict all the old combat reviews, just to remind you that they're all suffering in the Upside Down while you screw around and get into wacky bathroom hijinks.
And the bromide of the sealed character is picked up as collecting element. What is this? Is this harassment?
Is this harassment indeed? The original Sakura Wars had a complete story because there was no guarantee of success. It was a self-contained work that was later expanded upon. This one? Not so much. It's so focused on sequel baiting that it forgot to be a satisfying story in its own right. This has been a pretty negative review, but to be honest, I didn't dislike this game that much. I liked a lot of the characters, there's some pretty visuals, and I was interested in where the story was going, even if it did end in disappointment. This game is definitely geared more towards people who have never played a Sakura Wars game before, and for those people, I'd recommend it as a fun but highly flawed Sega title. Fans of the previous games, however, should stay far away. A big thank you to Sega of America for sending me a review copy of this game. I couldn't get a European copy for whatever reason. I guess the Americans really do like my channel more than my own countrymen. The version I'm playing here doesn't yet have the patch that adds in some quality of life features, such as saving anywhere and a lock-on during battle. Because of this, I can't really criticise the game for not having these things when the Western release should come with them day one. I will criticise Sega for not putting this update on the disc itself though. I've been Sniggity Slice, I'll see you around.
喜んでつけてくれるの？
プレゼントですから誰にもらっても嬉しいだけです。
And I'm working very diligently now, aren't I? I can't wait to begin working on steam-powered weapons technology.